Hello and welcome to the episode right before we came as Romans, and we start with the band's debut album, To Plant a Seed. Released in 2009, it would come through Equal Vision, and it was produced by Joey Sturgis. I covered a fair bit of the background behind this already, so let's kick off with the first song, which is a title track, a rarity for the show. But yeah, the song shows the album's metalcore lean with some really good electronic elements pretty well, and the instrumentation shows that with good mixtures of heavy riffs and lovely keyboard work. The lyrics focus on things like hope, love and positivity, and it's actually got a really good vibe to the messages, which I do like. The performances are pretty good, with drummer Eric Choi putting in some fast and mean work behind the kit at times. The production is nice, it's put together well, and it showcases as much of the electronic elements as it does the heavier stuff. The structure can have a stop-start feel to it at times, but it's not the worst thing, and when it gets a good flow it goes in quite well. My favourite song goes to Intentions featuring Tyler Telly Smith of The Word Alive. To Plant a Seed got a lot of flack in its day, but I think it's a solid enough debut with a good take on electronic tinge metalcore. Next is the band's second album, Understanding What We've Grown to Be. Released in 2011, it was another release for Equal Vision. It was produced by Joey Sturgis, John Feldman and Machine. So the band recorded this between parts of their 2011 tours, and they even got on Warped Tour 2, which is always nice. Anyway, the album starts with a sort of title track titled Miss/Understanding, and this is a good step forward from their debut, I think. The instrumentals are a bit heavier with less of an electronic focus, giving more chugs and heft to the guitar work. The lyrics still have that positive focus, with themes of hope and self-trust being prevalent and well told once again. The performances are still solid, with Dave Stevens and Carl Pavone finding more balance as well. The production is pretty good, really polished and layering a lot of the album as you would expect from people like Sturgis and Feldman. The structuring has a damn solid sound loop, and it's messed around with nicely too to mix up the pace. My favourite song goes to A War Inside. Understanding is a great follow-up that makes the right improvements, and it shows the band's sense of growth, as small a step as it may be. Next is the band's third album, Tracing Back Roots. Released in 2013, it would again come out through Equal Vision, and it was produced by John Feldman. So their last album sort of got them pretty famous, and they did big tours and even some big charity shows because they are the nicest boys. How they found time for this one is beyond me. Anyway, it starts with the title track, and much like previous paragraphs, it's a good start to things. The album has more melody to it, with the instruments feeling cleaner and even some light symphonic elements which really boost the sound. The lyrics again retain the usual themes of self-worth, hope, and learning to cope in the modern world. The performances are still solid, with Dave adding clean singing and bouncing off well with Kyle, but bassist Andy Glass is a standout especially here. The production is amazing, as you would expect from Feldman, adding a lot of smoothness to the melodic sound and polishing it nicely. The structuring is better handled, with the melodic pacing being quite sturdy, and there's also a better understanding of the core sound. My favourite song goes to Tell Me Now. Tracing Back Roots tries something new, and it works for them in a lot of ways, and it does a great job of establishing them in the process. Next is We Came as Romans' fourth album, We Came as Romans. Released in 2015, it was their last through Equal Vision, and it was produced by David Bendeth. So the band were pretty busy in between, with big tours with big names and even dropping an EP as a side project titled Crucible. That aside, they got to their fourth album pretty quickly, which also contains my first We Came as Romans song, In the World I Used to Know. That song and opener, Regenerate, pointed the album's sound shifting to more melody and cleanness. The riffs are not as heavy, but the focus on more technical timing is good, with the poppy elements honestly adding some good layers to it. The lyrics are again still kept positive, with the recurring themes of hope and trust that things will be okay again prevailing. The performances are still great, with no slowness to anyone, and the members seem to be having a lot of fun with this one too. The production is slick, kept smooth, and adding a lot to the album, and it stands off any rough edges, as few as they are. The structuring is great, with the melody being a good touch, solid pacing and song placement, and some really good hooks. My favourite song goes to The World I Used to Know. The band's self-titled effort adds more melody, expanding well on their sound with catchy pop elements, while still keeping some good heavy stuff too. And finally, we reach the band's fifth and most recent album, Cold Like War. Released in 2017, it's their first through Sharp Tone, but I couldn't find a producer, so maybe the band did it. Anyway, there was obviously touring done between, but this album marked two big things for the band. New drummer Dave Puckett, and it's also their last album with Carl Pavone before his passing a year after it was released. But still, what a last album for the man. It starts with the song Vultures with Clipped Wings, and this is a way heavier We Came as Romans from the gate. The riffs pack a lot of punch to them, showing a great mix of heaviness and melody, and really finding a good balance in that. The lyrics actually have more of a personal lilt for this one, still keeping hopeful themes, but mixing the messages well with some good self-examination too, and adds some good realism. The performance is great, Dave especially screaming his lungs off, and Carl delivers hard with his clean work. The production is also great, with layering and adding a lot more flavour to the album, and the label switch definitely helped with that, I think. The structuring benefits from the heavier pacing, and there's nice experimentation with group vocals and some pretty solid breakdowns too. My favourite song goes to Wasted Age. Cold Like War is the band's heaviest work, as well as some of their best performed, written, and the most honest feeling too. And that's another episode done. It's always a bit harrowing to go over a beloved band who lost a vital member, and these guys are just so easy to like. They're just so naturally charming. And yeah, they haven't always been top tier, but I think, you know, it took a while, but the journey was worth it. Anyway, as for what's next from me, I don't really have any videos planned tomorrow, but on Friday is probably going to be that super important vlog announcement thing that I'm going to be doing. And the next episode of this will be a two-part episode of Fall Out Boys requested by my good friend Sophie. And yeah, I don't really have much else planned. Maybe an episode of Music of the Week at some point. That's about it. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.